Hey guys, Jeff with the Flow Tube Fishing Patreon. So, round four, thoughts on the best tubes I've used in the past. I've talked about a few so far. I want to talk about two other ones way back at the beginning when the forum really got started for us. This was the first opportunity, or one of the first opportunities where I had companies actually working with us, sending us product and giving us an opportunity to um, test and review and show the product off and actually give some away. So Classic Accessories was one of the first companies ever that was large enough to jump on that made us a big difference, made a big difference for us. And one of, or actually two of the tubes they sent for us for one of our first toy drives that we ran, actually, scratch that, second toy drive we ran, they sent us both the Teton and the Bighorn from Classic Accessories. Now, the person I was in contact originally with over there no longer works there. Really great guy. He was interested in what we had going on. He saw the value in what we had happening, and he wanted to jump on board and be part of what we had happening here at the Float to Fishing Forum. And so he was gracious enough to go ahead and send us a couple of tubes that we were able to. We actually, what we did was originally we set up a online contest, fishing out in the water, promoting the company of Classic Accessories. Actually, at the time, it was Cover Bonanza. Promoting them, and in return, at the end, the winner received a float tube. So we did this quite a few times, and then this translated over into the toy drive itself, where we actually started giving away float tubes. The Cumberland being one of the ones we've given away more than I can't imagine how many I've given away over the years. Just alone float tubes alone, I can't imagine how many I've given away. But that was the point, the opportunity to get this out there for people to see. So I received the Teton from Classic Accessories. This was billed as a first-time boat for them. This was unique to them, their own design. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Classic Accessories took on Trout Unlimited float tubes, whether they were a parent company or whatever. Um, Trout Unlimited doesn't sell those products anymore, but most of them were found at that time with Classic Accessories and/or Cover Bonanza, which is their offshoot store. Anyways, the Teton was something new that this individual had actually started developing with Shiler, who actually ended up developing this tube, and he was excited about it, and he wanted to share that with us. So the Teton came to me, and once I got it, I was able to open it up and check it out and test it out. The Teton was back to the basics, simply back to the basics. It was a U-boat bladder behind the big one circle bladder around the tube, and one extra one behind you. And honestly, when I got it, I honestly cannot say I was very impressed when I saw it. It was small. It was did not have a major weight capacity to it, but it was a float tube and it served the bill. Construction I thought was pretty good. I mean, it was a solid boat. It really was. But at the time, for me, it was just an uncomfortable boat because it really was smaller than most I'd seen before, which makes it nice, easy to backpack, easy to carry in, deflate it, throw it in the corner. You'll never see it again. I mean, it was so small. Um, so the boat itself lacked storage. I think the side pockets were small. They did their job, but didn't do great. I can't say that it floated me high out of the water. It was a sling seat, back to the basics again, and overall the boat itself was it was a quality boat. It just, for an adult, it really doesn't make sense. I think for your kids, for young teens getting into the sport, I mean, it's not a bad boat to start with. And there are value to being deeper in the water when you're in the sling seat, depending on how you're fishing and what kind of conditions you're in. So there may be a need for that, but it didn't serve my purpose very well. That boat, excuse me, I'm sorry about my cough. I have a allergy going on. Anyways, that boat itself, um, when I was done with the basic review, we did actually have a couple extras, and I was able to actually raffle one of these off, and someone got to win a Teton from Classic Accessories, which was great. I actually put this on the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, 1 being the least. I don't want to say the worst. How about the less appealing, I guess? 1 being the best. I put it about a 9, honestly. And the only reason it's at a 9 is simply because, for me personally, size-wise, it didn't work. And I think for most of us adults-wise, it really was not going to serve us the purpose we need. I'm not sure if they still make this tube or not. I wouldn't doubt if you could find it out there, but it's cheap, lackluster, truthfully. So along with that actually came the Bighorn float tube as well. Now the Bighorn, some of you guys probably know this, and I'm pretty sure you can still purchase this boat. I'm sure it's still out there, and I'm sure there's plenty of people that actually have it. I know a few actually. The Bighorn itself is, well, we could basically say it was the Teton on steroids, is what it was. The Teton was, or excuse me, the Bighorn I think was there before the Teton. It was again a U-shaped bladder. Okay, it's a U-boat with a U-shaped bladder. It did have sling seat in it. The backrest was a little taller as far as the inflatables behind, an extra pocket above that as well, which was one of the things I like about those types of float tubes. The pockets on the side were definitely beefier. They definitely had more space to them. And so overall, um, when I initially saw the Bighorn and the Grand Teton, or excuse me, the Bighorn and the Teton together, I just assumed it was brother and sister. They were just the same boat, truthfully, different colors, different size. And using the Bighorn, it was comfortable. I definitely thought it was much more comfortable than riding in the Teton. But again, I'm still looking at stadium seating. I'm looking at the ODC 420 personally myself, which served my purpose much better. And I was more excited about that one than these two tubes I had in front of me. I was able to give away the Bighorn and had other people experience it. I knew at that point in time there were other people using it who were very happy with the boat. And overall, I couldn't say I was displeased with it. I really did like it. But again, I had this, it just seemed like the Teton. It really did, just a little bit beefier. Um, I did end up parting with the one I had and went back to my ODC 420 and into other boats as well. But the interesting thing is, it was a few years later when I saw someone who had actually purchased that boat, or excuse me, it was actually somebody who won it initially. They were still using the same boat, and that thing looked like it was brand new. And I know this guy who was using it. He didn't store it in the garage and never use it. He was out on it constantly all the time, and yeah, probably took good care of it. But it just kept working and working and working. Um, Years after that, he's still using the same tube, and I know other people that have the Bighorn from Classic Accessories. It's the same thing. These boats just keep plugging away. And so, because of that, being that this tube there's nothing special about it. There really isn't. Just the size of it itself, a little more storage as far as pockets are concerned. On the For the lower end style float tubes, and basically just a general basic float tube, I end up putting this about a 4 on a 10 scale just because of the quality, the longevity. It's a great boat, and if you're looking for something that's going to take care of you for a long period of time, I think this is the one for you. If you're looking for some basics, not too expensive. And again, part of this scale goes back to customer service. Now, the 9 for the Teton does not equate for customer service. The 4 for the Bighorn also doesn't really equate for the customer service. However, on those two boats, because it's Classic Accessories, they have pretty good customer service. At least back then, they had really good customer service. I know currently, right now, they're having some issues with product and bladders replacements and stuff like that. And I hope that they're actually working to try and rectify most of those things and working with customers. But back in the day when I was talking about all this kind of stuff, these guys were on top of it. They whatever you needed, they supported you, handled the best they could. So those scores I think were pretty high up as well, as far as I'm concerned. So again, the Classic Accessories Teton and Bighorn are two boats that I recently, well, excuse me, a while back, had the opportunity to receive and review, test, and give away. And with that, I had some experiences with those, and the way I felt about it, I'm putting the Teton at a 9 on a 10 scale, being not the greatest boat simply because of size. And the Bighorn, which I honestly at the time would have rated it kind of low on the list, ends up coming in at number 4 out of 10 simply because longevity. And I've seen people to this day still using the same tube that don't seem to have a problem with it. It just freaking goes. And that in itself is really important, I think, when it comes to float tubes. It's something that's going to last you as well. So this is my thoughts on some of the tubes I've used. This is the 4th installment. I've talked about a few, and I've got 2 more in front of you right now. I'm getting to the point where the next couple of videos, we're going to finally get into what's people are currently using. Talk about the Cumberland, I think. I'm excited to talk about that one. And we're going to bring up 7 bass. I'm not so excited to talk about that, but I'll explain when I get there. And then some of the more type of hybrid boats that I currently am working on now, using in the water, and my thoughts on them, and really what it comes down to as far as quality and customer service and um, comfort and all those types of things. So we've got quite a bit more to go through. Again, like I said, I did about 24 different reviews and tests on different float tubes over the years. I'm hoping to add that much more to these float tube tests and reviews over the years as well. And if I don't, I've had fun doing it. So thank you very much for everybody. We got 5 gold members now following us, and I appreciate all of you guys being a part of this. I'm hoping that in the new year, which we're in now, 2024, that we actually kick this Patreon off even more. And I know we can do it. We've already doubled most of our numbers, and that's great. And I want to keep this going. Okay. So this is Jeff, the Float Tube Fishing Patreon. I appreciate you guys being a part of this. Please spread the word about what we have going on, and I'll see you guys for my thoughts on my float tubes I've used, part 5.